Now, I want to talk to you about the process of immigrating to Estonia. First of all, as an international student, this process is usually not an easy process because there is no embassy in Nigeria. And for those who are applying from Cameroon, I want to equally inform you that there is no embassy in Cameroon. So basically, if you want to apply for a student visa, you have to go to Egypt or Turkey or Russia. But remember, you are going to be using tourist visas to this place. If you want to go to Egypt, it means you are going to get a tourist visa. Then if you want to go to Turkey, it means you are going to get a visa to Turkey, a short stay visa, but you need to tell them the reason why you are moving. Now, usually when you get your appointment, your tourist visa, it's maximum 10 days for you to get a student visa, which is the D visa to Estonia. Now, I want to take the process gradually. I will start by explaining the documents you need for visa application before I will come back to the admissions offer. Of course, let's start with can you move with your spouse? You can move with your spouse to Estonia if you are a PhD student. I'm saying this because admissions is going to start very soon. I will be talking about the various universities, the University of Tartu, the University of Tallinn, and Estonian University of Science and Technology. I will be bringing all the videos very soon. So please do not forget about this. Now, after you finish your studies in Estonia, if I didn't mention that, you will be given 270 days to apply for a job and get the job. Then you convert your visa from student visa to now working visa. But usually it doesn't take too much time, okay? So you have to understand this. Though the conversion on the system says that you have to do this within 3 months, but it doesn't take a lot of time. For jobs in Estonia, there are jobs. Of course, there are jobs there. You have to also understand that Estonia is a country, an IT country, or let me say software country. In fact, anything technology is coming from Estonia. There are 3 places you can go for visa, and it all depends on you. First document we are going to be using, or the first document you need for visa application is their proof of funds. I want to emphasize on this before I go to the other sections. I will talk about documents first before I talk about admissions and the requirements you need in order to apply for school. Now, these are documents for visa application. First documents is your international passport, and it must be valid for at least 1 year, 3 months, because you are going to be applying for a visa for 1 year, and they expect that your passport should be at least 3 months before your visa expires so you can renew it. So you need your international passport. For your proof of funds, according to the website that I've seen, you need 1,200 euros per month to spend in Estonia. Then if you want to calculate this money, it shows that you will need around 12,000 euros for 1 year. Some sites say that you need 86 euros per day, but I will not advise you. Remember, proof of funds is you are trying to convince the officials or the government that you have enough money to spend to study in their country. So you have to put this into consideration. And the bank statement you are submitting has to be a bank statement for the past 6 months. So put this into consideration. You don't just bump money in the account like that, okay? You build it slowly. They want to see the what you have been doing for the past 6 months. So make sure you build the account slowly so that at the end of the day, the visa officers shouldn't suspect anything, because most visa officers, they know that and get the visas and we give the people back. They already know this trick. So you should try as much as possible to maximize this. This is for proof of funds. And in the case you are moving with family, as a family, if you want to move with family, you should be going to Estonia as a PhD student. It's so important. And if you are moving with family, your child do not need to show any money, but you have to show at least 70 or 80% of what you showed for yourself for your wife. So let's assume that your own money is 12,000 euros. Then your wife money should be at least 70% of 12,000 euros. Right. If you are 2 children, you have to reach out to the embassy to confirm if you can actually move with them on that standard budget. I hope you get. Now, you also need documentation for accommodation. Most of the time, you are going to speak to your school to look for accommodation for you, to give you accommodation, and of course you have to pay them some deposits in order to reserve accommodation for you. Then they are going to give you the accommodation document to use to apply for your visa. It's very important. Before your visa can be granted, they need to know where you are going to stay, okay? This is very important, don't forget. Then you need 2 photos. For those photos are going to be used by the embassy. Then your admissions letter, of course, is it from which university? Tallinn University of Technology or the University of Tartu. Then you need a health insurance for international students on D-type visa is usually the European standard, which is 30,000 euros. Well, you are not going to be paying 30,000 euros to an insurance company to get it. There are a lot of insurance companies you can get this document from. All you need to do is to go to them, tell them that I want my insurance to be from this date to this date. You estimate when your program is going to start, then you explain to them. They are going to tell you how much you need. I don't remember how much Swisscare charge or AXA or Europass, but you can always ask them. If you are in doubt, it will be preferable if you get an insurance company in Estonia. So I will advise you to tell your school to give you names of some insurance companies you can pay for online. Okay, then you then talk with them. Of course, they have emails everywhere. You talk with them, then you pay your insurance online. This is the best way I can advise you to go about this. Make sure you pay 30,000 euros. Your insurance should be equivalent to 30,000 euros. Your visa, of course, is going to be for 1 year. And I already spoke about passport. If you have past visas, or if you've traveled before in some other countries and you got stamps or visas in your passport, scan them and upload it online so that they can be convinced that as you are going to Estonia, you are not going to live there forever. But remember, you do not need to tell the visa officer that you are not going to return to your home country. So this is how it looks like. But before you go for the visa, you should make sure you apply for a tourist visa to Egypt if you are going to Egypt, or maybe if you are going to Turkey, you try the Turkish embassy then before you move. Now this is for visa application, and don't forget that there is a fee for visa. You have a fee. Before, a lot of people used to go to India, a lot of Cameroonians, but as it is now, I do not think India is the best place because the VFS Global was introduced. Later on, it was closed. But again, you can verify and speak to your school. Your school should be aware of where you can go for visa application. I'm just telling you based on those that will be going to Egypt for their visas. So this is all about the visas. But remember, there is a document I mentioned, which is the admissions offer. You need that document in order to go to Egypt. Now, so the first step should be you apply for a school before you gather these other documents I mentioned. Okay, let's look at how the admissions work. If you want to apply to Estonian universities, what are the documents? How is the process? First of all, you do research. You go to the school websites and check what they offer. You look at the deadline, you look at the requirements, you look at the tuition fee. I will encourage everyone to take a look at the tuition fee in Estonian universities because fees have increased in Estonia and so many other countries like Finland and the Netherlands. So you have to pay attention to what you want to study and the university in charge so that you actually know what you are going to do. It is very important and mandatory. Now, when you have your documents, your YX certificate or your NECO, then you have your CV. Some schools will need you to write a letter of explanation, which is a statement of purpose. Then when you write this, you submit during that time. All right, there might be maybe admissions fee for you to pay to the school, but if there is no admissions fee, then you have to submit the documents, then you wait. Then there is another thing you need to put into consideration. Some schools may require you to give them recommendation letters, but if that's not the case, then you submit the application. Now this is for BSc students. Those who are going for MSc, you may equally ask them if they want you to submit copies of your transcripts from your high school. If it's not necessary, then you are good to go. For those who will be going for MSc programs, you also check if you need motivation letters and recommendation letters. It will always be on the school website. So this is not a process you should be even thinking about. But you, of course, you have to make sure you follow due process and instructions given to you so that you do not make errors. Then recommendation letters, very important. Then you write a very solid statement of purpose, especially to those of you who are going for business areas or business related programs. It is very important for you to note that a letter of explanation or the statement of purpose is very important. When you write this document, make sure you edit it properly. Then after that, you can then submit with the application. Now, you have to wait for some time to get results, and when your results is out, they are going to give you the offer letter. And I want to encourage you to know that when you are applying for this, it's going to take time. And now it's usually like 3 months depending on when you apply and depending on what is available. Then when you get the admissions offer letter, you will now prepare for the application proper. That is the visa application, where you are going to gather all this documentation. When you are making your course, make sure you put the location in which you are going to apply for the visa into consideration, because of course you have to take flights to and fro to these other places in order to get it. Probably you'll have to pay for some place to launch yourself before the visa will be out. Then another thing is, like I said before, you have to pay attention to tuition fee. A lot of schools, like I don't know how much Tallinn University charges now, or the University of Tartu, but you have to remember that most of these schools are adding a lot of money now for international students. You are not a citizen, therefore you have to pay more than a citizen. So put this into consideration. I'm going to bring a list of some schools that are equally open at the moment, so that you can check them. If you have programs in there to study, then you apply for these programs. Do not just rely on one country like Estonia. Of course, this is just one of the Baltic countries. You can equally be looking at Latvia and Lithuania, and Lithuanians look somehow flexible now for international students. A lot of internationals are moving to Lithuania, but the visa is still somehow cumbersome because you still need to deposit, fill in stuff, then you go to Dubai, Lebanon or Jordan to get it. Then for Latvia, you still have to move to Egypt as well. So please put all this into consideration before you apply. All right, cost effective. Cost is very important. If you do not want to go to other places to get these visas, then you will have to apply from your home country. You may check Portugal as well. You may check Austria, but remember, everything is a process. All these places I just mentioned, they need legalization. There are other places that you do not need to do legalization. You have to check them. Of course, Finland is starting January, but remember, tuition fee has been multiplied by 2. So in case you are not going for Estonia, then you have to check Finland, Portugal, Lithuania, and so many other places. It is now a problem of choice, and of course, the fastest people will always survive the race. So please put all this into consideration, and do not forget that the grace period is 270 days for you to get a job that would be able to convert your visa from a student visa to a working permit. And the conversion period is usually around 3 months, but usually it comes early for you to do this, okay? Because 3 months is a whole lot of time. So make sure before you start the process, you should do it quickly. And again, I will not advise you to always look at the grace period or focus only on the 270 days. While you are in school doing some part-time, you should always negotiate with your employers, talk with your employers to see if they can give you some level of internship. Also make them understand that internship is also good for you. Then from the internship now, you can easily integrate into the system. All right, although you work with them, you may be working somewhere and trying an internship somewhere, so that at the end of the day, you will have many employers to put applications in, because from internship you can easily get your way into the system. So this is the advice I will give to you.